Every year, Saint Arnold Brewery releases Pumpkinator, quite possibly the best beer ever made. And Jason's gonna investigate it. It's a tough life.
So here we are in the first room, and I just want to convey to you right now the smell of fresh baked pumpkin pie wafting into my nostrils. But it's not pumpkin pie. What is this?
It'd be Pumpkinator. So we are kind of in the process right now. We have our 3-vessel brew house. We start on one end, we add the grains. I think we did the math, and the grain used for one batch of Pumpkinator is about 8 to 10 times the amount of our lawnmower beer, which is our Kolsch. It's just big, flavorful. It has just quite a bit of sugar, quite a bit of alcohol. It's got a lot of everything in it. So it starts with a lot of grain. We'll add it to one of the vessels. We'll let it soak for a while. This creates the wort. So we heat the grain with the water, and then we'll transfer it to another vessel where we can actually drain the liquid out of the grain. And that is the sugar water. What's different with the Pumpkinator as opposed to other beers is typically you drain some, then you add some water back to it, and as you keep adding water and draining more and more, it becomes a little thinner, a little less dense. That's just kind of the nature of you get less sugar the more you add it. With this beer, we actually just take what we call the first runnings. So the first, I believe, 50 to 60 barrels, and then we dump the rest because we just need that really, really thick, really dense wort to start with, and that allows us to make a higher alcohol, thicker beer.
All right, so Casey, right here, you're telling me that this is where we add some of the spices, and what's the science behind this delicious process?
Yeah, that's correct. After we drain the wort from the grain, we have this really dense starting wort. It's basically just sugar water, similar to making tea. We'll start boiling that, and that'll start some conversions. When that process starts, we'll add some hops, some things like that to balance out the sweetness. We'll add a little bit of bitterness. Once we're close to the end of the boil, we'll actually add all our pumpkin puree, we add brown sugar, molasses, and then a lot of pumpkin spice. So that really gives it this kind of very full-bodied, very kind of spicy back end.
So where are we going now?
We'll go down to the tank farm. We'll show you the fermentation vessel where we're actually kind of fermenting one of the beers right now. So,
great, sounds fun. So we've moved on to the next half of the process. We started out looking at pulling out some of those different flavors in the beer, and we also flip sides because we're moving into the flip side of this. We just flip sides anyway, but what's next?
Well, okay, once the boil's been completed, we'll cool down the beer and we'll actually put it in one of these fermenters behind us. You can see. Once that's completed, we'll add our yeast. For this beer, we used our proprietary Saint Arnold house blend. And then once that process, once we've added the yeast, then it'll start converting all those sugars that we created earlier into alcohol and CO2. The yeast's entire life cycle is to eat sugar, poop out CO2 and alcohol. So you've got a good life, and breed, so they don't have it too bad. That'll happen. Usually the process is done between 10 to 14 days for most of our ales. For this beer, we actually let it continue for a little longer, and then we aged it for about 2.5 months here at the brewery. That way it'd give a time for a beer this large to really kind of settle down and become its own.
Great, so that's the story of DR9, now Pumpkinator, coming soon to all of our waiting tables at the bar. So ready for it, it'll be great. So hey, thanks Casey for having us down here and letting us know how this goes. It really smells good in here. Yeah, Tom, this will be really tough going into a brewery